Here we go. Wonderful. I know, a Sunday night stream. Who am I? Yeah, so we were gonna do a regular ass, and then we weren't gonna do a regular. It was a whole thing. Probably shouldn't have said that word in the first 30 seconds of my video. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's kind of a late night. It's not really a ram's ass because there was ass earlier. It was just a brief ass. So it's like a secondary, smaller ass. It's a little bit of cheek, you know? So that's what we've got tonight. Goodness. I don't know why it gave 3 notifications on Discord. What on earth? Okay. I'm gonna assume that was a mistake. Yeah, we are getting cheeked up. We're getting cheeked up on a Sunday night. Whoop, whoop. How is everybody doing this evening? Are we doing well? You better be. There we are. Hey, Boogie, what's up over on YouTube? Ram's cheek, yeah. Like youth group of old, hey. You know, I had some fun times at youth group when I was younger. I really did. Okay. Rogue, we were talking about how we're doing tonight. That's a little intense, the energy you're coming in here with. The horrors persist, but so do I. Fucking men to that. Hey, Jam Nick, good to see you. I've got my regular sized cup here. I've got my favorite version of the Bible down here. So we are doing TikTok request only tonight for call-ins. Because I don't have a call screener tonight. But it's gonna be a great time. So if you are a Christian and you're over here on TikTok, then go ahead and throw a request up there. Gotta go play drums for 45 minutes. Well, alright. Go jam out. I guess. I'll probably still be here. I love that you can just kind of vaguely see my roots starting to grow in. It's like that, it's a weird, like, murky blonde, so it kind of grows in just a little bit and just gives me a very strange hairline. What do I have to say to Christians? What's the contention? Stop that. Stop that. You know? That's the thing. I just think Christians just stop that. It's like the woman who goes around to interview men and just goes like, "Why are you like that?" And they all just get so pissed off. Love it. Have I debated God of Logic? Isn't God of Logic an atheist? Am I wrong? Yeah, I don't really know what we would have to debate about. Hey, Hannah Grace, good to see ya. Have faith that God isn't real. It's like, I love when people are like, ew, it takes more faith to be an atheist than to be a Christian. Such a weak point. It's those people who just like have a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be atheist. Good joke. Thank you. Good joke. That's gonna follow me everywhere now. Even when I go onto other people's streams now, people just say, good joke. What's the goat's name? We're narrowing it down. So far, I like Psy, spelled C-Y, like cyborg. Someone said Vincent Van Goat. That's great. Um, Another person said Tibsy. I like that. Um, so isn't this woke shit over? Not being Christian is considered woke now? God damn. Y'all are just taking everything. By the way, you're welcome to call in if you are a Christian. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, robot goat.
Hey, can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
My name is Doyen User. You can call me User. My
Okay.
age is 36, and my pronouns are third person masculine.
Which would be.
In English, we call them he, him.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Also, his in the possessive, him in
¿Y en
the
español?
accusative.
¿Y otros idiomas?
Él, ella.
¡Ella! ¡Qué interesante!
Just
¿Eres una chica?
saying. No, soy él. Y en français, c'est il, lui. 中文的说是他呢. What else do you want?
Ah, très bien.
Merci également.
So, you Christian?
Used to be.
What are you now?
Atheist.
All right. Well, you're lucky that it's a Sunday, so I let atheist up. You have a thing to say?
I do. I have a question about whether or not Christians should stay Christian, because if they're shitty people as Christians, imagine what they would be like without a moral compass. I don't like Christianity, but some people really need a stupid moral compass to follow. Otherwise, I think they would be a lot worse.
So you think that we should lie to them to keep them pacified?
They do it all the time. They do it to themselves. We don't have to lie to them. They just have to tell themselves that their imaginary friend is the ultimate authority.
But isn't the truth of a belief more important than its utility?
Good question. I think that if you get results, to some people, it's going to be more important that the utility justifies the means. For me, truth is very important, which is why I don't believe that lying to people is fruitful. However, some people prefer to live lied to, and I cannot denigrate nor invalidate their experience.
Some people prefer to be lied to. I don't think they see it as lies.
I
Christians
know
don't believe that they're being lied to. When you say they prefer being lied to, that suggests they understand that they are being lied to.
that it does suggest that, and it is the fear of them to ruminate in those hard, cold truths that prevent them. Fear, again, I say, is the ultimate reason why they prefer the lie. It's because they have fear, and therefore they won't ever really truly draw out the narrative of them being in that void because they refuse to repeatedly out of fear.
Yeah, so I don't see how it would be more beneficial to continue to have people live a lie rather than to know the truth, because you don't have to have Christianity to be a moral person, and there are plenty of assholes who are atheists, but there are plenty of assholes who are Christian. So
Agreed.
I don't think it's not really dependent on religion, right? It's more dependent on, I'd say, your culture and the way that you're raised are some of the biggest aspects. What you are taught to believe is right and wrong, but that's not, again, not dependent on religion, because even Christians have different moral codes that they live by. Some of them are like super homophobic and transphobic, and those people are pieces of shit like all transphobes are. And some of them choose to be more accepting and progressive.
Correct. I think that there are some people who are just simply not ready to deconstruct their beliefs. And I think that that needs to be analyzed too. You are talking about, shall we say the words, forcing the truth to them. And I agree with you because I believe that the truth is that there is no God. However, if they are not ready and they are and it'll be traumatizing them to force them to understand something that they refuse to believe in, then isn't that a form of abuse?
Telling someone the truth?
Correct.
I would disagree that telling someone the truth is a form of abuse.
Oh, what if they don't want to hear it? What if they're not ready? What if they don't consent to doing that?
If they don't consent to hearing the truth,
That's what all religious people do.
I would disagree.
Fine.
I would say most religious people, they will hear the truth and they just won't believe it.
But why don't they believe it?
Because they've been indoctrinated into their religion.
Yes, and indoctrination, as you well know, is something that can be expunged or purged out.
Yeah, and it takes time.
And, dare I say, the willingness to deconstruct. And if you're not willing, then this is why we're not always successful in helping people understand.
So when I say Christians stop that, I don't mean I'm gonna like Clockwork Orange their eyes open and play 1,000 hours of Alex O'Connor content for them. This is to incite conversations with people so they realize some of the harmful aspects of their faith and can begin that journey to deconstruction. And the only conversations I have specifically are opt-in. People have to call in to my show. I'm not forcing the truth on them because deliberately they are coming to me to have these discussions.
Understood. You make a good point. Ultimately, though, I think that it would be people who come into your show who in some way are seeking an invitation to deconstruct, and then therefore you're exposed to the truth, quote unquote, and vice versa, and you're consenting while being a party of the participation of the conversation. So ultimately that's valid. You're not forcing anything on them if they come here on their own will.
Yeah, I don't go out and like evangelize atheism to anybody. If people want to have a conversation with me, they have to call into my show. I don't even really like talk to people in my life about it, just because that's not what I'm about.
But if they do, well, I think the world will be a better place, personally.
I mean, probably. But again, I'm not trying to evangelize.
So what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to incite conversation.
For what purpose?
To help people come to their own conclusions, to deconstruct harmful aspects of their faith. See, when you're talking about evangelism, it's typically done by like seeking people out to preach to them.
Yeah.
And again, that's why mine are opt-in, right? When I was a part of the church, because I was Christian up until I was 17, I went on mission trips where we would offer water filters to people in very rural areas and countries without robust sanitation systems. But there was kind of a caveat of, if you want this water filter, you have to listen to us preach. Right. So we were giving them potentially life-saving equipment because there was like this very high prevalence of waterborne disease in those areas. But it came with the condition of having to listen to us preach. And every time we saved someone's soul, we were like, oh, this is so great. We've done this for the Lord. But looking back on it, it's like we were essentially holding those people hostage. Yeah. we were lording this over them to get them to sit and listen to us witnessing to them so that they could get this thing that they desperately needed, rather than us just giving it over to them without any sort of strings attached. So I'm trying to avoid that.
I like to hear that you're saying that, because I too served missions and also attended people in that and served people in that way. And I remember vividly believing with the depths of my soul that this, to use your metaphor, was as life-saving as water itself, that it was something that they needed as much as the physicality of the water itself. I remember believing that.
Yeah.
Then therefore, having been indoctrinated to believe that, I felt like I was saving them twice. Like, I'm not obviously saying that I did the exact same mission that you did, but in essence,
I get it.
The caveat comes with the stern and, dare I even call it, sincere delusion and idea that they needed the thing that I had to share with them as much as the physicality of the service that was being rendered. And that's the part that I think you and I might mutually believe needs to be deconstructed.
Yeah, there are some creators that I really admire. They are also former missionaries. Their content doesn't really center around religion, but they like very publicly deconstruct it, and they tell a story of a time where their best friend, like one of their best friends, was dying very young, and they spent some of their last moments with him trying to witness to him instead of just spending that time with him. And how much they regret that, but at the time, they genuinely believed that this was their last chance to save his soul, so they were putting
Right.
forth every desperate effort they could to convert him on his deathbed. It's moments like that that I think kind of show off what we're both referring to here, where it's like they do absolutely believe that they are doing the right thing, but that is because they have been indoctrinated into this idea that like no nothing matters more than the fate of your immortal soul. So any action that is taken to save someone's soul is justified, no matter if it doesn't seem very palatable to others. So witnessing to someone on their deathbed, or hey, you can have this water filter if you come and listen to us preach. Those are things that sound bad to outsiders, but if you genuinely believe, hey, this is the only way to save this person's eternal soul, that's going to justify the actions that you're taking.
Right.
And that is a very difficult belief to deconstruct. But I think if some people like take a step back and think about the times in their life where instead of being present with people or specifically with someone they care about, that situation became all about trying to witness to them, and just examine the effect that has had on their personal relationships, and also just how genuine their relationships with some people are. Because if it's built off of like, I'm just trying to save your soul, is that really friendship? Is that really endearment? Or is that sales?
When this was part of the reason why I wanted to come up and talk to you about letting Christians be Christians if they want to be Christian. Because if nothing matters more than Christianity to the Christian, back when I used to proselytize, at least, it was something that I wanted to share out of the genuine, earnest desire to help others. And now, as I have come to atheism and deconstructed to the point where I believe that this is truth, I don't seek uh, I don't seek to deconstruct or chisel away at people's faith per se. I seek to see them as they are, wherever they are at, and have radical acceptance for certain uh, attributes of the people that are important to me, even if it means that they don't believe the same things that I do, given that they don't always try to preach me back into the faith, or try to guilt me into telling me that I'm going to burn or whatever. And I have been able to, with my sister, actually, been able to avoid the topic of religion almost altogether. We occasionally do talk about it, but it's almost as a frivolous, almost sensory process. But it doesn't come into doctrinal or as to any moral judgment. And I appreciate my sister for not being that type of Christian. But there is a way to sort of have relationships with people, even though not always possible, that you are able to have acceptance within them. And to land my plane by telling you about my grandmother, who had a very small plate. She didn't care about Vietnam or Germany or Congo or Canada, because she doesn't have time. She has 13 kids that need feeding, washing. There's no running water or electricity. So these things, I can only care about so many things in the world. And one of those things that she cared about was her family and her faith. And I would not want to impose on her the idea that she should deconstruct. Ultimately, I did. And that wasn't a good idea. And I felt terrible afterwards, because I realized that I was doing exactly the same thing that Christians do to the atheists or to the non-believers.
Yeah, that's another reason I kind of avoid approaching people in real life with this conversation, because of aspects like that. But I think one thing that's kind of being left out of this equation here is the fact that Christianity doesn't always make people better. There are
Yeah.
many Christians out there who have some pretty horrible ideas because of Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
And so not making any effort to help those people deconstruct and get away from those beliefs is ultimately causing more harm. Like, I had several men in a row the other night who are Christian come into my stream and defend marrying children, marital rape, and just general like abuse towards women. And that's because it was justified by different stories in the Bible, like the Midianite girls being taken as sex slaves, like David's wives being raped as a punishment for David. Um, it's it's those sorts of things that are not great that
Yeah.
you kind of need to discourage people from believing, because while there are many Christians who to be honest don't really read that much of the Bible, and so they're kind of like, oh, it's all about peace and love, because they take, oh well, Jesus said love your neighbor, and that's like that's what they cling to. Sure, okay, but the Christians who are trying to pass legislation to like have the death penalty for women who seek abortions, or Christians who are trying to rescind the right to same-sex marriage, Christians who are trying to hang the Ten Commandments in classrooms, which they've already done in some states and are trying to in more. That's the sort of thing that I feel like needs to be discouraged.
Truly, yes. I want to respect your live, and I don't know what level of censorship you want me to use. I'm against censorship because I like freedom of speech. But
It's a TikTok terms of service thing. My life could get taken down if I use certain terms.
yeah, you said death penalty just fine earlier. Just saying.
Death
Um,
is okay. You can say
it,
death,
it sure as hell is.
but you can't
Anyway,
say grape.
as you wish. You're the host. So this is the reason why I said that people have a vote on their own volition, choose and pick and choose their ignorance, because the Bible clearly does say love your neighbor, but it also clearly does say a couple of things in Deuteronomy that you and I have you just criticized right now that I agree with, that involves misogyny, and it involves a certain level of tolerance towards behaviors that I do not condone on my personal ethics. However, the Bible does say them, and the Christians deliberately, much like the Christian nationalists in a political movement, pick and choose which one they adhere to. And so I do go back to my original comment in which you asked, are you saying that they deliberately know and or understand? And I said, yes, they're just too afraid to sort of sit with the conclusion. They're to think it through all the way. Like it's an incomplete thought. It's a thought that doesn't get carried through to its full fruition, and it doesn't lead to healthy conclusions, which is why they're not wanting to deconstruct, which is why they're not, or rather, which is why they actively refuse to deconstruct. It's a very interesting thing that happens whenever people are indoctrinated. It
I
happens.
would say there's also some fear in there because people who kind of depend on the idea of heaven to get them through their daily
Right.
lives are
Right.
very scared to lose that. So sometimes I think it's just the idea of having your entire worldview toppled is just too scary for people to want to let go of it.
Precisely.
Um, and there is also a fair bit of cognitive dissonance that they've already had to teach themselves in order to be Christian thus far, you know.
Right.
So I think there are a lot of factors that go into it. So we have gone a little bit long. We've said definitely more than a thing. So I am gonna go ahead and let you down, user. But thank you for coming
Cheers.
up.
Glad to meet you. Harmony to you.
Harmony and wisdom. Show I didn't get into. Alrighty. Well, hello, everybody. Dr. Joe, I saw you in here. Joel, I saw you in here. Hey, Schley. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. There is definitely a line to be towed here. Thank you for the level up sparks, Dr. Joe. Yeah, I tried to avoid like the atheist evangelism. Obviously kind of a misnomer here, but I do try to keep my conversations like opt in. Gospel according to Meta's here too. Hey. Hi, Crystal. Oh, thank you for the lights. Our community just teared up. Hell yeah. Me too.
Let's go. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah, for sure. Michael, 25 and he, him.
All right, what is your religion or lack thereof?
I'm an atheist.
Well, all
Does that
right.
mean are you gonna kick me now?
No, it's
Or can I
Sunday,
stay
so you
up
get to
here?
say a quick thing.
Oh, sweet. Let's go. Um,
Not
what
very
do I
quick so
say?
far. Oh. What the fuck? I didn't do that. All right. I guess he's gone. Bye, Michael. Oh, do we have a flat earther in here? Oh, please request up. Hey, Namaki.
Oh, oh no, not a flat earther. I was just gonna say that.
Not you. There's someone else.
No, I didn't say I'm not a flat earther, which I'm not. But like I said, oh, not a flat earther.
Oh yeah, no, I was just clarifying. You are not the flat earther.
Um, I was gonna say for every one of the Christians in the chat that are saying that this person's pronouns are they them, why should they listen to your opinion? I would like to say your book says that trees were made before the sun. So shut up.
And days and nights occurred before the sun and moon existed.
Yeah. All right, I'm out. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you for saying a quick thing. Keep doing your atheisms. Hello, hello.
Hi there.
Hi, can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Johnny, 36. He, him.
All right, Johnny, what is your religion or lack thereof?
Not religion. I understand that religion is negative. It's a relationship with God. Follower of Christ.
So Christian.
Yes.
Yeah. So Johnny, stop that.
Well, the earth has a firmament above us.
What makes you say that, Johnny?
Because we can't have air unless it's contained.
What makes you say that?
Because you cannot have particle collision unless there's a physical barrier. That's
Particles
Boyle's
can
law.
collide with other particles.
Then how would those particles expand if there's not a physical barrier?
How would they expand without a barrier?
Correct. So how would you have air pressure without a physical barrier?
Yeah, so that would be because of gravity.
May you share an example of that?
Of gravity?
Of your claim that we can have air pressure? Yes, that's a claim. How can you prove that gravity exists?
Just did.
No, you made a claim.
I showed you.
So an object falls because
Do you
it's more
need-
dense than its surrounding medium.
So why would it fall down?
Well, it most certainly wouldn't fly or fall up. It would,
Why?
all objects fall. Because nothing falls up.
Why?
Because density brings the object to the ground.
Why? What makes the ground the reference point?
Well, because one, the ground's there, and to dive deeper into why objects go downward in a
The
vector.
ground is there. What makes the ground the reference point for, like, down?
Because what else would be the reference point?
Well, that when we're talking about gravity, so gravity pulls things in towards the center of the mass of the object. So that's why we see things fall towards the ground, because the ground is closer to the center of the Earth. But in a flat Earth model, why would the ground be down?
On any model, the ground would always be the ground.
All of those models are just perspective, so why would the ground be down?
Because the ground wouldn't be up.
Like in any basic physics class, they show you that you have to, like, establish perspective, right? Because if someone's viewing something from a different angle, then it's gonna be a different reference point. You talked about vector
I agree with
earlier.
that. I
So
do agree with
vectors
that.
have both direction and magnitude, right? You have to establish a reference point for that direction. So why is it that you're saying the ground is like down? Why is down the direction that things go?
Electromagnetism and electrostatics explains why objects fall in a downward
It
vector.
really doesn't.
May you elaborate?
You would have to tell me how it does.
Well, because the sky is a positive charge and the earth is a negative charge.
No.
Yes, and that's why that also explains how the earth is an enclosed system. So if I
The
were to
Earth
agree
is
with
not an enclosed system. The sky does not have one specific charge.
how
The
would
Earth does
you-
not have one specific charge. We have a magnetic field.
We do, yes, we have a magnetic field. There's no South Pole. There's only the North Pole, the center of Earth, yes.
The center of Earth. What? Just a question. Why would it be the North Pole if it's the center of Earth?
That's where the magnetic North Rock is located. That's why your compass always is magnetically drawn to north.
Because of a rock? Not
Yes,
because
it's
of
the-
not because of Earth's magnetic field, but because of a specific rock?
It's magnetic North Rock, yes.
So if that rock were picked up and moved, would compasses change?
Hypothetically, if you could move the magnetic North Rock, the compass would still be magnetically drawn to it.
So if you were to move that one specific rock, compasses would change.
No, the compass never points, it's never magnetically drawn to south because there is no South Pole.
I'm not
There is
saying
no
south. I'm saying if your reference point for north were, if that rock that you say is the reference point for north were to be moved, would the compasses, if they continue to point towards that rock, would that mean that a compass that was just like sitting still would change?
Change, what do you mean by change?
Okay, so this is the rock and this is pointing north. If the rock moves, is the compass going to move to point to the rock?
Always, yes.
Okay, so you can just change whatever north is by moving that one specific rock?
Correct. Hypothetically, but yes.
How did that rock get that property?
Well, if you study flat Earth more, you learn that the reason why the Earth is mostly salt water is because water does conduct electricity. But if you add salt to that property, it creates
property?
something called. If you add salt to water. So
Okay.
salt water. So water itself conducts electricity. But if you add salt water, if you mix salt water with electricity, it creates
Mix
phenomenon-
salt water with electricity.
Have you ever seen that in person? Or even in a video? Like
Well,
salt water and electricity?
You don't really say you mix electricity with something?
Of course, that wouldn't be the most smart thing to do, of course. But if you were to witness salt water and electricity, what do you think would happen?
Let me ask you, what type of bond does a water molecule have?
H2O? Are you talking about H2O? Oxygen and hydrogen?
What type of bond does it have?
What do you mean, what type of bond?
Yeah, that's about right.
I mean, you're here telling me that the sky is not the limit, and I'm telling you it literally is the limit.
We have no reason to believe that it is. Again, your explanation is not functional. You say that there's one specific rock that somehow, because of salt water, is the exact reference point for north on Earth, and if it were to move, then all the compasses on Earth would also move to point towards it. So the North Pole, like, compasses don't point north because of Earth's, like, magnetic field, according to you, but because of a specific rock. You also claim that the sky has a charge, a very specific charge. And you also claim that Earth itself has a specific charge.
Yes.
And you claim that you can mix electricity into water.
Salt water, yes, but yes.
Oh,
Correct.
sorry. I'd hate to imply that you could mix electricity into fresh water like some idiot. Yeah, none of what you're saying is sound. It provides no functional explanation for anything we observe on Earth, and it still doesn't tell me why the ground would be down.
Well, the ground would most certainly not be up. That's for
If
sure.
you establish a different reference point, it could be. Why would just density make things go down?
Because if something is more dense than its surrounding medium, it must go down.
Why down? Why must it go down?
Because density doesn't cause an object to go upwards.
Why not?
Because it has volume, mass, and density, and then.
But there's
it
no
would-
reason that mass would inherently make something go down unless it were being acted upon by gravity.
Well, a feather will eventually hit the ground, just not as fast as a bowling ball.
That has nothing to do with what I just said.
It does, because the feather is less dense than its surrounding medium. It's going to go down, just not as fast.
There's
when you
no
think gravity, it's
reason.
mass.
There's no reason that mass or volume would make something go down absent of gravity.
That's not true at all.
You have not yet. Well, then explain to me why mass and volume would cause something to go down.
Well, first of all, we have to understand that an apple falls in the air and it floats in water based off density and buoyancy.
Doesn't answer my fucking question.
So why must an object go down?
Why would density make things with more mass go down?
Because it has weight, therefore it goes down. Weight has...
Why? Why
'Cause-
down?
Because weight doesn't make objects go up.
Why not? Because of what?
Because of density.
So
Density
density,
does not...
density makes things go down because of density. That's what you've just said.
Technically weight. So if something has weight, it will go down.
Why?
Because it's more dense than its surrounding medium.
Why does that make it go down?
Because density doesn't cause objects to rise.
That's
So
circular!
Okay, so a helium balloon goes up because it's less dense than its surrounding medium, unless it's anti-gravity.
Johnny, you're missing the point by a million fucking miles. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's no reason that weight would make things go down absent
silly.
gravity. Gravity is an attractive force between anything with mass. So even though the attractive force between any two objects is going to be equal, it's going to cause more movement in the object with smaller mass. So technically, because, for every action there's an equal opposite reaction, so
Amen.
we are pulling on the Earth as much as the Earth is pulling on us. The reason that we are on the ground and that ground is our down is because it's a direction that points to the center of mass of the Earth. And since that is true of everywhere on Earth, the only functional model that would make sense for down to always be pointing towards the center would be a round Earth.
I agree the Earth is round as a circle, just not a ball. And I would also even further agree that the Earth is an oblate spheroid, but we live inside of it, not on top of it.
Okay. Johnny. That makes no sense.
It makes complete sense. It's what led me to
Really
know the
does not.
truth. The truth, not a truth.
Yeah,
The truth.
you know none of the truth. The way that you've been talking makes it very evident that you are lacking basic knowledge in chemistry and physics and astronomy. And
Astronomy.
the fact that you say that, like, oh, you need to study flat Earth more, when I just know for a fact that your version of study is reading a bunch of blogs and watching YouTube videos.
That's not true at all.
Okay,
And I do apologize
where'd
if
you go
that
to
comes off
college?
arrogant. I went to community college.
And did
For
you
2
learn about
years.
flat Earth there?
No, I did not.
Where'd you get educated on flat Earth?
The scientific method.
Where did you get educated on flat Earth?
The scientific method. I applied the scientific method
Scientific method isn't a
to
place.
reality.
Where did you study flat Earth?
I go outside and I observe.
That's okay.
I apply the scientific method to reality. Yes.
Yeah, so you don't have any formal education in this.
Yeah, I do. I actually have a minor in technical physics from college. And even if I didn't, you can still be a scientist without a PhD.
I'm not saying you have to have a PhD, but you're saying that you studied flat Earth. You didn't study it in school. You said you study by going outside and observing Earth.
Of course. How else would you learn about the Earth without observing it?
Okay, so observation is necessary but not sufficient, Johnny. So it's also important to know about things like how gravity works.
Yes, I understand gravity doesn't exist after studying about gravity. Sincerely, respectfully, I understand it does not
You clearly
exist.
did not study gravity.
Even the formula for gravity, the rate of fall never changes.
What is the formula for gravity?
The F equals ma.
That's not the formula for gravity.
Well, it's the formula for force, and you claim that gravity's a force.
But gravity has a very specific force.
But do you see what I did there?
You can just tell me what it's based off of.
It's based off mass.
What specifically though? Like gravity. What is it based off of?
That's all it is mass.
No.
So when a helium balloon floats up, is that anti-gravity?
It's not only based off of mass. I'd like you to explain to me what else gravity, the force of gravity, is based off of.
So are we talking about Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, or Newton's theory that mass attracts mass?
That's not about gravity. That would be about like time dilation. I'm asking you what else is gravity dependent on?
Gravity needs buoyancy density, and it needs to exist for the heliocentric model.
If you're calculating gravity, what would it be dependent on?
Acceleration and mass.
No.
Well, you claim that gravity causes acceleration.
So if gravity causes acceleration, it's not dependent on acceleration. So
what would that mean?
What do you use to calculate gravity?
That's a good question. What would your answer be? Because I can't figure that out.
I'm asking you.
I
know the answer.
I don't know. You know the answer?
Yes, I do know the answer. So it's going to be based off of the mass, yes, but also, and this is a critical part, the distance between the two objects. So as the radius between two objects increases, the force of gravity between them is going to decrease.
May you share an example, just one example of that?
Sure. So that's why when people are in space, we say it's zero gravity. That's technically not true. It's just they still experience gravity with literally everything in existence. It's just because they are so far away from Earth, gravity is not enough to pull them toward the center of Earth anymore. That attractive force that they're experiencing is not going to be sufficient to move them. So that's why they float around instead of being on like whatever side of the ship points closest to Earth.
I think that's a sincere answer, although that's not an answer on Earth, because I understand the vacuum of space does not exist. It defies the second law of thermodynamics, and it's a paradox. It's imagination. It's in Star Wars, I understand, but it's not in reality.
You're so...
It's
very funny that you're saying something is imaginary and also you're a Christian. You're saying space is imaginary and you're a Christian.
Yes,
Ooh.
I promise that space does not exist. Yes, well, the vacuum of space.
I believe that you sincerely believe that, and I also believe that you're extremely wrong.
No, I understand that. I don't believe or feel that that's true. I understand that the vacuum of space does not exist.
You believe that to be true, Johnny.
The shape of the rainbow proves that. The color of the sky proves that. Clouds prove that. Air proves that.
No. And because you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what gravity is, it's going to be very, very difficult to demonstrate to you why we do have things like our atmosphere, like the layers of our atmosphere. Why do you think we have layers to our atmosphere and there's like gradually less pressure in each of the layers? Why do you think that might be? Because that's like a
Because
very easily
that's
observable thing because of like planes,
yes,
right? You ever go up in a plane and
yes,
you feel your ears pop? So
yes,
why might that be? Because
yes.
air's not going to be. Is there going to be more or less mass in
I
the air
love that you
causing
brought
that?
that up, to be honest. So yes, their claim is that there's multiple layers of the atmosphere, but what's truly there is multiple layers of the firmament that God created.
So
That's why there's
so when
7
we're in
layers.
planes, we're actually in the
Yes.
firmament.
Yes. Technically we're in the firmament right now. Earth is an enclosed system. It looks like your eyeball, and the pupil would be the North Pole. Eye of the beholder.
I'm holding a B right now, that's for sure. So Johnny,
Yes.
no.
So why is the sky blue? So the biblically speaking, we understand that there's water above us.
Oh, please tell me you're not literally going with the well, water blue sky must be water.
It's not dirt,
Okay,
and it's
chocolate's
most
brown,
certainly
shit is brown. So if I eat a chocolate cake, am I eating shit?
that's not an honest analogy or
It
comparison.
kind of is. You're saying it
That's
must
not.
be water because it's blue.
Well, we understand how I understand how the rainbow works.
I'm not sure you do.
It takes shape of the firmament above us. It's the same reason why the rockets have a parabolic curve at the quote unquote atmosphere, which is really just the firmament.
It's a parabolic curve because of gravity. Oh.
Because of gravity, you always use that word, even though a body of water needs a container. It needs a container. Like a bottle of water is the same phenomenon as the beach.
Continents do act as like the container you're trying to talk about.
That's true as well. But if you go even further, the edge of Earth, which is the ice wall, the firmament as well.
So wait, so if water needs a container, then why is there not just like a column of water where the oceans are? Why does the water not fly upward if it's not being contained that way?
Well, it is being contained. The school system lied to you, saying it's gravity that holds water on a spinning ball, hurling through space, chasing the sun at astronomical speeds.
Oh, fucking fuck me, Johnny. You don't understand how acceleration and velocity works either, do you?
I do. How do you measure acceleration?
Acceleration is going to be change in velocity.
Well, I was being a little facetious. I was going to say an accelerometer, but yes.
Yeah, so you know how if you're driving in a car, if you're traveling at a pretty consistent speed, you don't really feel the speed that much unless you suddenly accelerate super quickly, and then you'll kind of go back in your seat a little bit.
Of course I understand that, yes.
Yeah, so that's why we don't really feel the effects of our orbit and revolution around the sun, because we are revolving at a pretty consistent velocity. Therefore, we don't really feel any change in acceleration.
I respect your answer, and I've heard this before, and there's 2 things I wanted to say. The second thing is a question. So the car is contained, meaning it's an enclosed realm, just like how the Earth is an enclosed realm. And also, when we were all born, are you saying that you yourself concluded that the Earth is spinning, hurling through space, chasing the sun at astronomical speeds, or did somebody tell you? Like, did you
well, they didn't
explore?
just tell me. We did experimentation. We had a certain hypothesis that, hey, this is the speed of Earth's revolution and orbit. And then we do experimentation to see if our findings align with that hypothesis, whether or not we can reject the null hypothesis or not. So it's not just, oh, they tell me that, so I must believe it. I've done... oh, sorry, you've been booted. Sorry. You guys can thank Porsche, or maybe it's Portia McCoy for that one. I'm going to assume is it Porsche or Portia? Anyway, big thanks for the kick. I know y'all were getting a little bit tired of that. Thank the flat gods. Yeah. Yeah. That was brutal. Um Woo-wee. Hello there. Can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
My name is Taylor. I'm 20 and they, she. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No worries. You're here on a good day. So, can I ask what is your religion or lack thereof?
I'm an agnostic, atheist, anti-theist.
Sweet, sweet. So, do you have a thing that you would like to say?
I heard that you watched the new Obsessed movie, and I did too, and I want to know your opinion.
I liked Obsession a lot. Actually, I saw Obsession yesterday and I saw Backrooms today. Because we got the AMC A-list thing that everyone always talks about. I really, really liked it. I thought, I knew of Curry Barker from his, like, comedy work online. I thought that he did a really excellent job with this one. It was definitely, it had a darkly comedic tone at, like, just the right times.
Yeah.
I thought, is it Indy Navarrete? Is that, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her name whatsoever, but the performer who played Nikki was incredible.
Yeah.
There were so many times where I was just delighted by the movie because I'm a big horror fan. Backrooms I also really enjoyed. It was definitely more of a slow burn, and it was more about the world building and the atmospheric horror than just like the outright fear. So of the two that I saw this weekend, I would say Obsession was a better movie, but Backrooms was like a better world. But I don't think Obsession was necessarily trying to go for the like world building aspect. I mean, they definitely kind of left it open for a sequel, but they weren't trying to like make a universe based off the One Wish Willow. So what were your thoughts, Taylor?
I thought it was pretty good. I was like, it kind of reminds me of Smile 2. Have you seen that?
Ooh, I can see that in some ways.
Yeah. It's not as gory, but it reminded me of it in that like psychological thriller kind of way. Especially how like that actress was really amazing. I mean, she really made Nikki look like insane.
It was so unnerving. And yeah, I forget the actress who played Sky Riley, but she did an awesome job in Smile 2 as well. I've seen a lot, I pointed this out to my partner. I was like, we've seen a lot of couple-based horror lately. Like we had Obsession, and we had Companion, and we had Together. It's so interesting how we've seen a lot of like couple horror, and yeah, my partner was like, well, yeah, it's probably because a lot of couples like to go see horrors together. And I'm like, no, that might be right. But we also really enjoyed Hokum. That was one recent one that we really liked as well.
Never heard of that one.
Oh, it's so good. It's directed by Damien McCarthy, who did Oddity and Caveat. So those are definitely also good movies, but Hokum was his best work. I don't know if it's out on streaming yet. It might have just left theaters, but if you haven't watched Hokum yet, you should. It was fucking incredible.
I'll definitely look into that.
Well, all right. Taylor, thank you for coming up.
Thank you for
good
your
to
opinion.
have you here. Yeah, keep doing your atheisms.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hello, Crovis. Did you mean to request this time?
Yes, actually.
All right.
I just wanted to comment on, or do I need to?
Can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Okay. Crovis, 19, he, him.
Sweet. And I already know the answer, but what's your religion or lack thereof?
Atheist.
Would you like to say a thing?
Yes. It was about the caller before it, the flat earther.
Yeah, it's something, wasn't
it? Yeah, when he was talking about like, oh yeah, there's one rock that controls all of like the entire
Fucking
Yes.
lodestone Minecraft style.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you're telling me we could, like, someone who's just really dedicated and has a lot of money, like a Bruce
Fuck up
Wayne type
every
figure.
compass ever.
Yes. Like, that would be detrimental. Like, that would be such a
You know, that's because you fucking know that, like, fucking Elon Musk would have just done that to fuck with people by now, because he's just a little
yeah.
shitbag. He would have totally moved the rock.
Plenty of people would have done it. Either that or they would have tried to, like, crack it open and then just end up, like, breaking it entirely. But also, like, if, you know, 'cause how he was talking about, oh, this is how God designed it. That's a pretty dumb design choice, if you ask me. Like, if I'm this
that definitely
all-knowing,
would be.
if I'm this all-knowing, like, all-powerful being, I would be like, maybe we don't just make one rock that these guys could pretty much just pick up.
One fucking rock.
Yeah. The one rock. You can't even, like, it's not even bolted to anything. It's just a rock.
It's just a big rock. And if you move it, you're fucked.
Yeah. It's like when humans get really dedicated with something, they're gonna end up doing it, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And
They would have.
It was crazy. And then also when he was talking about how he went to community college, which is, you know, great that he was able to go to college, all good. I wish he would have, you know, took that time to actually
Learn.
listen and yeah.
Yeah.
When he talked about his degree, I thought about, I don't know if you've ever played any of the Fallout games.
I haven't. Rat Soup has, but I haven't.
I was thinking, it made me think of there's this character named Mr. Terrific, I believe, or Mr. Fantastic, one or the other, in Fallout New Vegas, where he's just this, like, idiot, essentially. But he's put in charge of a, like, solar power plant, but he knows nothing about it. He knows nothing about solar power or anything. And in one of the dialogue options, you could ask him, like, oh, how did you get how did you get this position? He asked me, like, or he said, like, oh, well, you know, the NCR, which is, like, the one of the factions of the game, they came up to me and were like, do you have a theoretical, or do you have a degree in theoretical physics? And I was like, yeah, I have a theoretical degree in physics. And it just made me think of that. But
very on point with our last guest.
But anyway,
Well,
glad
yeah.
you got to see the backrooms, though. That was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I know I was talking about Passenger earlier.
Yeah.
In the Discord, and I was trashing Passenger because Passenger sucked. Another couple horror though. But no, I enjoyed Obsession. I enjoyed Backrooms.
Yeah, I want to go see Obsession. I'm probably going to here in a few days.
Definitely worth it.
But
it's definitely been a strong year for YouTube horror.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad more people are getting, like, the credit that they deserve.
Hell yeah! All right, you have a good one, Clovis. Keep doing your
You
atheisms.
too. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Russell, I don't know specifically why someone muted you, but probably because you were being annoying. Why must you torment me?
I just had a question for to address something that the guest, not the previous guest, but the one before, was saying regarding something in the Bible. And maybe you can help me understand this. So my understanding is that Moses was not terribly fond of Andes chocolates, and also didn't prefer Mentos. But was quite familiar with and a big proponent of, like, lifesavers, breath savers, and even icebreakers. And can you speak to that? Do you know if that was true?
I'm trying to put together, like, commandments. He
Just from what I understand. Oh, certainly not. But correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, he was a big proponent of the firmament.
Damn it! I almost had it. I'm gonna get it one day. I'm eventually gonna see the punchline before it I've yet to get it before it happens. Every fucking time. I'm usually good at, like, figuring out jokes and riddles like that. Fuck. I was close. I was real close. One of these days I'm gonna get ya. And I know that encourages you when I say it. Fuck. I can't remember getting, like, a true flat earther on stream before. Oh yeah, can I get some good jokes in chat, please? Good joke. Can you get an explanation on why Raw Soul has been muted again? Probably because he was being annoying. First time with a flat earther. You never forget your first. Also, I'm gonna put this up here on TikTok. I know YouTube, you can't see this, so it looks like I'm just having an episode, but if you're not already following, you should make this number bigger. 'Cause bigger is always better, right? Anyway. Haven't watched Backrooms yet, but haven't heard great things about it. No, I liked it. I liked Backrooms. I think you could definitely see Parsons' style best in some of the, like, found footagey segments. I liked the world building though. I was definitely great world building, great set design, well acted. Yeah, it was a little slow at times. The pacing could be slow. I think that was intentional, and so it did kind of work. But if you aren't someone who really enjoys the Backrooms already, those slow points may kind of lose your interest. It's definitely more about, like, atmospheric horror than anything in particular. Like I didn't find any of the elements that were supposed to be, like, super jump at you scary, super scary. But I think, again, that was kind of a deliberate thing that kind of worked with the movie itself. I do really like liminal horror. And I liked all the videos that Kane had put on YouTube. So I liked it. But it's another instance where if you're not kind of already a fan of the genre and or the creator, you might not really like it as much. Like, I think the same thing for Iron Lung. Iron Lung was a definitely kind of a slow burn. So for people who didn't really care enough about Markiplier or who were expecting more of, like, a non-stop thriller horror movie, it lost their interest. Even to me sometimes. I think it could have been a half hour shorter. I really do. But I still thought it was a pretty good movie, especially for, like, a first feature film. I know he had done other projects. He didn't, like, direct on Edge of Sleep that I know of, but I enjoyed Edge of Sleep a lot. I enjoyed Markiplier's content for, like, years and years and years. So I enjoyed getting to go see Iron Lung, even if it did get a little bit slow at some points.
I did actually want to add something real quick, because I also really love liminal aesthetics. By any chance, are you familiar with the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows?
No.
You should look it up. One of my favorite words in the English canon is kenopsia, Kenopsia, in the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. Definitely recommend, especially if you're into liminal aesthetics. That is entirely legitimate and sincere. Though I do have one more Bible question. If you can help me out.
I'm waiting for a pun, and I'm so scared. I can't trust anything you say.
No, that's entirely legitimate. But I do have one more Bible related question. If you can help me. So my understanding is that there was a woman named Hannah in the opening chapters of 1 Samuel. Presumably you're familiar, yeah? And then, as we know, throughout the Bible, there's obviously quite a bit of discussion, of like currency and wealth, of course. And I did want to go back just to Moses, because as we know, he was a big proponent of the firmament. But do you happen to know? Because my understanding is he was actually also quite fond of, quite taken with Hannah. Is it true that after the 40-year, march through the desert, is it true that he too was a big fan of Hannah and money?
Thought it was milk. I think it's supposed to be a play on manna and honey. But I thought it was milk and honey. Wasn't it milk? Wasn't it milk? And other sentences. Whoa, someone just left a long fucking comment on one of my videos. Always love when I see that. Yes, you all should say good joke. Hardly a limerick. Now, if you came up and said a limerick, that would be impressive. That would be impressive. You're allowed to begrudgingly say good joke, but you still must say good joke. Them's the rules. Welcome up. How's it going?
Hello. I just wanted to say something really quick.
Say a thing.
Okay, something.
Now there's someone who knows the value of staying true to your word. Good joke. So a little fun fact. My next kind of like private follower goal that I've had for myself is actually 11.6k on TikTok. Because that is the amount of followers that my old account had before I lost it. So, to me, this would be the point in which I feel that I have not only started over, but have reached the point that I had before. Now, I know it says 11.6k on my profile, but you can see I'm not quite actually there. It just does that after you hit the 50 on the 100 before. So, once I hit that 11.6k, that's going to be another little personal celebration for me. And I'm very excited about it. YouTube is also killing it over there. I think we're close to 1.3k on YouTube. Which, holy shit. Thank you. I know people are asking, how did I lose my account? Well, it's a not fun actual answer. The actual answer is, that it got taken over by someone in a different country who locked me out and used it to sell AI slop. So my bio is still on the account. My reposts are still all on the account. But now it's like, this does wonders for my calluses. Buy now from TikTok Shop. And we all love TikTok Shop in here, right? Right, guys? We all love, ooh-wee. TikTok Shop is something we have a positive opinion of. Very positive yeah, look at those positive opinions about TikTok Shop.
We love TikTok Shop.
We love TikTok Shop. Hey, how's it going, Crystal?
Hey, Robot Go. I'm still trying to reach 10,000 followers, so if any of you aren't following me, follow me. But I have a limerick for you. There once was a robot goat who didn't get on the boat. When the floodwaters rose, they yelled, "Damn it, no one knows." Now they swim while the ark stays afloat. Bye.
That was it! I do appreciate it. That was a very good limerick. R.I.P. to me, though. I can only... Would a goat doing doggy paddle be a goaty? I don't like that. But thank you, Crystal. I like that limerick. Even though I died at the end. Good limerick. It's a paddle goat! Fuck! Oh! I thought I made it very clear that you guys weren't allowed to say things funnier than I can come up with. That's supposed to be like just a ground rule here, guys. You can't say shit that's funnier than me. Just not allowed. Like, you can say funny shit, but if I couldn't come up with it, no. Like a bride on her wedding day. No one can out-funny me. It'll be a very quiet chat then. Damn! Look, I try my best up here, you know? I am but a jester. I do have funny hats. This is my strawberry hat, even though I may or may not be working on another one for no one in particular. It looks so stretched out when I put it on over the headphones. But I do have my strawberry hat. If you'd like the chance to win a hat like this, become a call screener for me, you can do that by checking out my Discord and my Linktree. So check that out. I will say, besides my partner, I only had one call screener for the month of May, so that person automatically gets a win. So the sooner you do it, the more likely you'll be in a month where there's not a bunch of competition. Oh no. You have another one?
Once there was a Moses man, who a priori an apiary fan. He crossed the grains and bore transient pains, but at least he got a tan.
Feels like cheating, but good for them. About my call screener. Hey, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're the first to answer my request. The way chat went silent. Hey, no, people on YouTube are enjoying it. Alright? Look, it's hard to come up with a limerick on the spot. I don't even know if I could come up with a limerick on the spot. Like, whoever could just, like, come up with a clever limerick, that's a skill that I would envy. I would envy it terribly. Joy Boy, if you'd like to come up and have a conversation, you're welcome to do so, or you can keep being a crybaby in the comments, up to you. But your God will know that you didn't defend your faith. So, I hope he's, like, super forgiving about that. How long we going tonight? Till I get sleepy. That's usually when I stop. Look, I'm trying to have a more consistent stream schedule where I know, like, okay, I'm gonna do these days in particular, I'm gonna start at these times, and then it just keeps getting all fucky, right? Like, I used to take off on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna take off on Saturdays and Wednesdays, and then the week I was supposed to do that, I've just by habit streamed on a Saturday, and I'm like, oh, if I do 6 days a week, then they're gonna expect it. It's not interest, it's logistic stuff, right? It's me being like, okay, on top of my day job and other part-time job, how much time can I do streaming? Because I cannot do the, like, 6-hour streams that some people on here do. There are times where I'll see Joel is live, and, like, a couple hours later I'll start my stream, and he'll still be live when I end my stream. I do not have that level of stamina. I just don't. Mostly just because I can't sit in a chair normally. Like even right now, I am perched like a little frog in a chair, and you'll see me adjust myself a lot, and that's because I'm queer, and it's a rule that if you are queer, you can't sit normally in a chair. So you'll see me like do one of these, and it's a very unflattering angle of me. But my chair is not super comfy, and it is very creaky. Maybe if I get like a proper gaming chair, I'll be able to stream for longer. But also my desk it's nice, but it's not super sturdy. So you'll see anytime I bump it, it does that shit. Yeah, that's what we're working with. But I still have a much better setup than I used to. Aaron, okay, if you're having to ask if you're queer, the answer is yes. Listen, I'm just saying, no actual straight person was Googling "Am I gay?" quiz in middle school, okay? All right? Did I design my theme? No, I did not. It was an artist on Etsy. It's spelled like Titio Liddy. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. But I got that off of Etsy. And my little goat here is made by my friend who is art.bees on TikTok. They did our amazing little goat friend who I swear we will come up with a name for certain. I will decide. I'm just indecisive, okay? This is important for me. This is branding, okay? I gotta make sure that my branding is appropriately named, because I can't just like change the name of the goat later. I mean, unless, a loophole. If the goat later came out as trans, then I could change the goat's name. I didn't think about that. No, I'm not branding the goat. Let's No. No. You misunderstand. That's not the sort of branding that I'm referring to. Not the sort of branding I'm referring to. Welcome back, Inumaki. Do you have something else to say?
There once was a person so odd, who hadn't a faith nor a god. They were given a boon, and how they did swoon over their partner and his rockin' bot.
Hey! I like that.
I know limericks.
Is that all you just came up with a limerick?
Yeah.
Excellent thing to do. Maybe I should like have that as a thing, like occasionally just limericks welcome. On one of my streams, just add another banner that's like limericks always welcome. So I'll let any non-believer up on any day, but only to say a limerick. I kind of want to implement that now. Yeah, maybe. But then I wouldn't be able to differentiate between like accidental requests and limericks, and so I might let a bunch of people up who don't actually have a limerick, and that would be tough. But if you guys request up and indicate to me, if you indicate the limerick, then we're all good. YouTube is having some like heated back and forths over here. And then over on TikTok. Yeah. What about haikus? Maybe. See, when I read haikus, I don't know if you guys watched Jack's films at all, but he would sing haikus in a certain way. If it was just like da 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 da, and that's every time I read a haiku, I do it in that tune now. So. Oh yeah, someone suggested that I mute Joy Boy till they come up. I'm gonna do that. Sorry. Oh, is someone talking about Satanism over on the YouTube chat? Satan is a real man. I love when I reference things that maybe two people get. Been watching Jack's films for like 15 years. Yeah, I started watching him in 6th grade and kind of just never really stopped. Well, Bayou Billiot, thank you for sending over $5 on Cash App. There's no one to drop, but I appreciate it. As always. Is Satan the name of a goat? Or was that from Muting Joy Boy? Because I was doing that for free. I can't just name the goat Satan. That would be a little on point, I feel like. I wasn't actually going to make you pay for that. I was just going to do it for fun, but I appreciate it. Sophie, you think I should turn to God? Well, you are welcome to request up if you would like to talk about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm going live.
That sounded like a child. Sorry about that. God helps me brush my hair. He is a girl dad. Okay. Also a child. Cool. Yep, that profile picture is a child. All of the fucking, like, oh my god, Jesus and God are such a girl dad. I don't like that. I don't like that. Why are you spamming now? You sounded like a child. Children are not allowed on lives. I'm sorry.
Guys, when she joins everything. Turn to God.
Never heard that one before, Sophie. Yeah, that's gonna be really convincing to people. Where should I turn? Because I've looked in, like, every direction. Yeah, they're at a middle school sleepover. Hey guys, do something else with your time, right? Stay off of TikTok lives. Stay off of Omegle. Stay off of things where you would interact with adults on the internet. You got school in the morning, all right? So go to sleep. Like, I get it, you know, I was a Christian up until, like, the end of high school for me. So I definitely had my fair share of, like, church sleepovers. But School's out for summer? Really? We went until June. Guess that's just us, though. I guess ours was kind of a late one. But we had a very long winter break as well. We got a super chat. I think this is Amaya, who says, I'm curious if you're against all Christians. I am a Christian and not radical or anti-LGBT or anti-science, but do believe the churches do wrong. So here's the thing. I want to be clear that generally I'm not against Christians. I am against Christianity. I think that Christianity does harm to Christians. I think the beliefs that they hold are harmful to themselves. So I do not have a problem with the fact that there are people who are Christian. I think the religion as a whole is the problem. And I know you're just another one of those children, because only children think lesbian is an insult, and also I'm not one. Who sent the spammers? It's that one fucking... Okay, and now a corn bot. That's how it is. Turn God into a lesbian? Now that I could probably do. Which lesbian is being addressed? That's a good question. That is a good question. Any Any lesbians in the chat want to volunteer to turn to God? Did I ever do a youth group lock-in? Oh, did I? My goodness, I loved lock-in. We would play this one game that we called Underground Church, which was specifically based off of the idea that Christians are persecuted in other countries. And so we would pretend that we were Christians trying to form a secret church in a country that hated Christians. So we would hide throughout our, like, we had a whole floor basically for our youth program. So we would hide throughout the floor, and then there would be like police that would be sent out to catch people trying to form the churches. And then there'd be like a missionary who would like form the base that would be the secret church. It was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, the idea behind it is not great, right? Not necessarily something that we should be teaching to children all the time. And it just kind of contributes to the, like, almost, I don't want to say, I hate the term, like, persecution fetish, but they definitely have, like, a complex about, like, oh, people are mean to Christians. Even though in the United States it's the religious majority and holds the majority of political power, and it's almost just, like, assumed that everyone is Christian when you interact with them, unless they are like visibly not, you know, if they're wearing a yarmulke or hijab. That's about the only time people don't automatically assume you're a Christian. So fun times. Yeah, you hate the American evangelicalism obsession with persecution fantasies. Yeah, definitely a lot of those. Definitely a lot of those where it's like, oh, we couldn't. There was one story where it was like, oh, we went on a mission trip to the UK, and on the plane, one girl just stood up and declared on the plane that they were going to teach people about Jesus, and because of that, they were kicked off the plane. How horrible is that? And what really probably happened is they were probably, like, yelling at people on the plane when they couldn't go anywhere, so kind of like trapping them and proselytizing to them. But that's not the version of the story that we were told, right? We were told the, like, oh my goodness, they couldn't even teach about Jesus. But then you see these videos of, like, Christian influencers being on a plane. It's like, everybody, I just need you to know that Jesus is Lord, and just like really disrupting people's days for no fucking reason whatsoever. So probably just that they were being disorderly and disruptive. Hello?
Hi.
I'm staying ready on the button. There's this one street preacher that I keep seeing on YouTube. I forget his fucking name. It's like I want to say it's like Bowden or something. It's like not an actual name. And he films himself going to like pride events and just like yelling. Just being like, Jesus loves you, you can turn from your sins, you don't have to be like this. And it's so annoying because you know that they are specifically just trying to upset people. They know that they're not going to have a genuine conversation with people at Pride by screaming at them, right? And in some cases they even specifically try to like provoke them to initiate like violence so that they can show how violent non-Christians are. It's just a horrible practice. And what's so frustrating is how much all of his like supporters eat that shit up. Where they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that you can see the demons in their eyes. They're so evil. They just need Jesus in their hearts. Oh, it's so sad they need Jesus. And it's like, no, they were just having a pleasant day at Pride or at some fucking event that had nothing to do with religion. I've even seen people doing it on like a beach, just a public beach. And it's like, you're intentionally disrupting these people's day. That's what they are complaining about. So not fun. I see a lot of Christians in chat over on YouTube. You're welcome to request up. I'm probably only going to take one more, maybe two more requests, depending on how long those conversations go. Christianity is a cult. Sorry. And I get there's some literal cult experts who are like, we got to be more particular about like what we refer to as a cult and what we don't. But anything that is so high demand that uses the tactics of a cult, really the only thing that would keep it from being definitionally a cult is because it is mainstream, whereas cults are generally considered by experts to be like smaller sects. But beyond that, it's a cult. And it's so funny because I look back at things that my church did that, like, obviously my parents kind of had some red flags raised. I remember my dad bringing up, like, isn't it strange that they, like, take away your phone when you go on trips with the church? And it's like, oh, well, they don't want us to be distracted by the outside world. And it's like, no, they want us to be disconnected from the outside world, so that our focus is on what they're telling us. And the fact that they would specifically wear us out all day and then have cry night, everyone fucking knows about cry night, where they would have a jam-packed day where you would get absolutely exhausted, so you would also be emotionally exhausted, and they would choose that moment to try to evangelize to you the hardest. And that is the point where you would have a lot of people who would react emotionally. You would have people crying. You would be begging to be saved, even if you had already been baptized or professed that you were saved or accepted Jesus as your savior. You would see a lot of people want to redevote themselves if they hadn't already. And that is because it's a very well-crafted emotional manipulation tactic used especially on children. Now, they do it to some extent in regular church services as well. Like, they know specifically when they want to put out the offering plate to make the most money, and it's going to be based off of emotional pressure to do so. Sometimes they'll even have specific sermons about why it is good to tithe to the church or to give money to the church. Obviously, we've all heard of the prosperity gospel shit, where it's like, if you plant this seed with your faith, you'll reap the rewards many times over, and it's all just one massive grift. But the church as an institution has so many tactics to emotionally manipulate people, to assert power over people's lives, to make itself the sole social support that people have, so that if they lose the church, they also lose that social support, so they're less likely to leave the church. It's pretty heinous when you get down into the nitty-gritty of it. And as I saw Schley bring up in chat, they are notorious for covering up sexual abuse and sexual assault, particularly to children. Not too long ago, the Southern Baptist Convention had a list of thousands of reports that they had been covering up for quite some time. There have been instances in which people who were essayed as kids by pastors or preachers were made to apologize to their abusers in public. More than one time that has happened. So, oof. We got a super chat from C Yard that says, I love Salty Christians and your stream's gold. Well, thank you. I do love keeping a golden stream. Welcome in, Joy Boy. Can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah, my name's
you're very muffled. Can you move your microphone?
Can you hear me better?
Little bit. You're still pretty muffled.
Sorry about that. You wouldn't mind having a conversation with me like this, would you, right now?
Currently, I think it would be miserable for everyone to listen to this. It sounds like you have a pillow between you and your mic.
Sorry about that. I'll see if I can come back later.
Well, all right. C-Art sent another super chat that said had to go again for that joke. Thank you. Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to hear what Joy Boy had to say. The mic was inside him. that Mike was asking him to turn his head and cough. Which verse are we talking about in chat? I see... Da-da-da. Prostate Mike is crazy. He was ready to prostrate himself before God. Eh? I'm so welcoming to others' beliefs for someone preaching inclusivity. I host debate streams where I have people with opposing beliefs come up and talk to me. Robotgoat water sports confirmed. Hold up! I don't need that out there. What on earth? It says my live is paused? That's not true. Huh. What is the purpose of this stream? Well, this is kind of a silly topic tonight. I needed it because I was in a shit mood. But typically it is to encourage discussions about faith or lack thereof. Often it's about science-related topics. Sometimes it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. But hey, bullshit can be fun. I was saying that they would be miserable to listen to because their mic quality was so bad, my friend. Because they were speaking like this. Who would want to listen to an entire conversation and just this? Oh, I saw someone requesting up for a second. And they drop back down. I guess they got scared. But we are really only 24 away from my next follower goal. So I'll give just a couple more minutes to see if someone else wants to come up. I don't know if that's pronounced S-Rin or just like Srin, but if you want to come up and chat, come up and chat, alright? You don't need to have an argument with 100 people in the comments. It's not gonna get anyone anywhere, my friend. Ooh, Schley suggests share the live with someone who definitely watched Magic Mike. Hello?
Hello.
That gave me bad vibes. I'm sorry. Strange profile picture, strange username. Schley, you're sharing with so many people. Woo! Can I prove that I'm not asleep right now or that I'm not going to be poisoned in my next meal? I hope I am. Which one am I referring to? Figure it out. Hypocritical? Is that what you're going with? Hypocritical?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going? Oh, you sound like a child.
Oh.
Lot of youngins tonight. Oh, you are a kid if you're doubling down on hypocritical. Well, I see that we have a few people who have joined our Discord, so I'm gonna round out this very anticlimactic finish to the stream here by saying, hey, if you're not following or subbed, do that. If you're not a part of the Discord, do that. If you're interested in being a call screener so you can be entered into the raffle to win something that I will crochet you myself with my own hands and a hook, do that. Discord is in the link tree that you can find in my bio on TikTok and in the description and on my page on YouTube. You do have to copy and paste it into a browser if you are on mobile. Weirdly, that is just the way the Discord works through TikTok. So that is what we are going to do. You do have to request to be entered into the server. That's just a safety thing, so we can hopefully keep it just a safe, secure, good experience for everybody. So have a wonderful rest of your night. I should be live again on Tuesday, unless I decide to do one tomorrow, which I fucking might, but definitely Tuesday. So, see you bitches later. Bye, TikTok. And YouTube, you're the next to go, I'm afraid. I'll give you some time to collect yourself and